Live from WTVO 17 and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Scrutiny over Johnson & Johnson's one-shot COVID-19 vaccine intensifies as the U.S. FDA and CDC jointly recommend a pause in distributing the vaccine to patients.
The statistics that they pull shows just at or under 50% of the calls are domestic related.
911 dispatchers in Rockford receive specialized training. Their new skill sets will help victims of domestic abuse.
It's really about hope. That's our main focus, is about hope.
Rockford Health System's honoring those who give the gift of life. Find out how you can become an organ donor during the month of hope. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. If you were scheduled to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine in the next few days, your plans might have changed.
FDA and CDC officials put a pause on the vaccine this morning. Our Washington correspondent Basil John has more on what the White House and lawmakers are saying. He's keeping you connected to the nation's capital.
Good evening. With the news of this pause, the White House and Congress want the public to remain calm as health experts handle this new information. President Joe Biden says his goal of vaccinating Americans is still on schedule despite a pause on Johnson & Johnson vaccinations.
So there's enough vaccine that is basically 100% unquestionable for every single solitary American.
Tuesday, federal health officials temporarily stopped the use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine.
As they review data involving 6 reported U.S. cases of a rare and severe type of blood clot in individuals.
White House COVID coordinator Jeffrey Zients says the move shows the Food and Drug Administration prioritizes safety. The FDA says they only expect the pause to last a matter of days.
This announcement will not have a significant impact on our vaccination program.
It really allows both the FDA and the CDC to further investigate these cases to try and understand.
White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci says those who received the J&J vaccine more than a month ago should not worry.
The time frame when this occurs, it's pretty tight, from a few days, 6 to 13 days from the time of the vaccination.
Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio says health experts are taking the necessary precautions.
I'm hoping that it'll be a short-term interruption and that we'll be online here pretty soon again with the Johnson & Johnson vaccines.
As of now, the administration doesn't have any concerns about the other vaccines produced by Pfizer and Moderna. Reporting in Washington, I'm Basil John.
Here in Illinois, the Department of Public Health pauses J&J shot distribution. The organization says the move is just to be safe. All Illinois COVID-19 vaccine providers have been asked to discontinue use of Johnson & Johnson. To keep already scheduled appointments, Illinois health officials urge providers to use doses made by Pfizer and Moderna. According to IDPH, if you've received the J&J vaccine and developed symptoms like severe headache, leg pain, or shortness of breath, contact your doctor. The Winnebago County Health Department released a statement reacting to the advice. That message says, in part, quote, WCHD officials are closely monitoring this situation and learning more from the Illinois Department of Public Health and CDC. Additionally, WCHD has shared the CDC and FDA recommendation with all COVID-19 vaccine providers who have received vaccine from WCHD.
A Rockford police officer accused of sexual assault attempts to get his case dismissed. Eric Thurmond appeared virtually before a judge today. His attorney argued the case should be dismissed. The judge is set to go through those arguments. Thurmond is a former Rock House officer known for dancing with kids at block parties and attending community events. The officer is due back in court May 7th. A Winnebago County jury finds a Rockford man guilty of a 2018 murder. Frederick Thomas killed 36-year-old Jennifer Lewis. Police say Thomas and the victim were in a relationship. He'll be sentenced July 16th. Back in September of 2018, officers found Lewis dead inside her 10th Avenue apartment. Investigators say she died of blunt force trauma.
911 dispatchers are the first line of contact during an emergency. It's their job to learn details and send the appropriate first responders to the scene.
Dispatchers in Rockford recently underwent specialized training when speaking to victims who've been strangled. Michelle Rave joins us with more on what they learned.
Many of those reports start with a call to 911. According to 911 Division Administrator Todd Stockberger, on average, 50% of calls made to dispatchers are domestic violence related. From 2017 to 2019, about 47% of Rockford and Winnebago County domestic violence survivors reported being choked or strangled. Throughout the month of March, all 40 911 dispatchers in Rockford's 911 center received specialized training from the Strangulation Task Force. It's a joint effort between the Mayor's Office of Domestic Violence and Human Trafficking Prevention and the 17th Judicial Circuit Domestic Violence Court. Dispatchers were trained to ask specific questions that allows them to better guide survivors and provide them the assistance they need.
Anything we can do to align ourselves throughout this community to give a survivor a better chance of getting services, getting help, whether it's police, fire, other intervention services through domestic related organizations, we need to do that.
Coming up at 6, we'll hear from the manager of the Mayor's Office of Domestic Violence and Human Trafficking Prevention. She'll share how this training benefits victims of domestic violence. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Michelle. Rockford Aldermen, consider a project that's for the birds. Bird scooters, that is.
The grab-and-go recreational devices could soon be available in the Forest City. Dylan Srocky tells us about the process of bringing them here.
Rockford is now one step closer to welcoming a new electric scooter sharing program. The Planning and Development Committee approved a pilot agreement with Bird Rides last night. Under the proposal, people would only be able to use the scooters in certain areas of the city. In fact, the vehicles would slow down and become inoperable if riders traveled outside of these spaces. Scooters would be allowed on streets, bike lanes, and bike paths. Alderman Chad Thunberg voted in favor of the proposal. He compared the scooters to Rockford's Lime bikes, saying it would be another option for people who may not have a car or other form of transportation.
Somebody may not want to walk, 8 blocks to get somewhere to the restaurant they want to eat at or the event they want to go to, and they may be able to just hop on one of these and ride it 8 blocks.
The agreement still needs to be approved by the full city council. In Rockford, for your home team, I'm Dylan Srocky.
1 week after voters cast their ballots in the local election, officials retabulate the machines that counted those votes. Winnebago County voting officials tested computers in precincts as well as early voting devices. Members of the state's attorney's office helped out. Winnebago County Clerk Lori Gummo hopes the process gives voters a sense of security, knowing their voice was heard.
This is something that we do after every single election. We do it before the election, we do it after election. We're always here to help ease the mind of the voters that the election equipment is operating properly, and we'll be able to demonstrate that today.
Gummo says the election team meets following every polling day to discuss how to improve the process by the next election.
April is Donate Life Month, and to mark the occasion, Swedish American staff observed a moment of silence for organ donors who give the gift of life. 107,000 people are waiting for transplants across the country, with nearly 4,000 of those patients in Illinois. That's why healthcare workers paused for 1 minute and 8 seconds while raising a flag this morning. The hospital reported over 30 organs donated last year, which is higher than average.
Losing somebody usually very suddenly, and then being able to give them hope from that and be able to take care and advocate and see that person live on, that's how you balance it. You take this tragedy and you turn it into hope.
Head to mystateline.com to find a donor registration link. Swede staff say it's also important to talk to your family about your wishes.
If you're on the job hunt with a passion for education, an upcoming event might be for you.
After the break, we'll tell you what positions RPS 205 is looking to fill.
Temperatures for us this afternoon fell shy of that 60-degree mark, and it may actually be some time before we see the 60-degree temperature achieved again. More on the chill and how long it sticks around coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Sports Director Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
After the job market was rocked for months because of the pandemic, companies are starting to hire back staff in full force.
That includes the Rockford School District. Ari Bruckman joins us with more on an RPS 205 hiring spree scheduled for tomorrow. Ari, what can you tell us?
Eric and Mimi, Rockford Public Schools have already had to navigate curriculums differently because of the pandemic. but they're also dealing with another challenge.
What we're seeing is a need for substitute teachers to support the school district. So we're very excited about this event.
As more and more kids go back to in-person classes, many districts across Illinois and right here in the state line are seeing a shortage of not only teachers, but those helpers like subs and paraprofessionals.
People that have gotten into the noble profession of teaching and instruction as a substitute teacher or paraprofessional, what they've come back and said is, wow, it wasn't as challenging as I originally thought.
Kelly Education actually found that only 54% of the nearly 250,000 teacher absences each day are able to be filled, adding the district would be fully prepared to assist in any way.
Lesson plans are prepared and ready. The district has a fantastic support staff, and so if there's anybody that needs any assistance, there's plenty of support to make sure that they have exactly what they need.
Beckner encourages anyone with a passion for learning to check out their job fair, saying being a substitute teacher is a great experience.
They come out of that experience with an appreciation of what instructors and what teachers go through every day in support of our children and young adults.
The job fair is tomorrow at the RPS district on 7th Street in Rockford. Kelly Education is asking you to sign up for a spot in advance because of COVID, but walk-ins will be accepted if you want to learn more about the job. I posted all of the details on mystateline.com. Eric and Mimi.
Thanks, Ari.
Cloudy skies kept temperatures from getting very warm this afternoon.
Expect the same story tomorrow, maybe even the next day. Candice joins us with our next chance to see the sun coming up.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
Well, like yesterday, our winds have been a little on the gustier side from the west this afternoon, sustained at about 10 to 20 miles per hour, but we've had some gusts close to 30. That wind coming in now at about 10 to 20 miles per hour from the west, kind of keeping us a little bit on the cooler side as our temperatures today for most stayed in the low 50s. Some of those numbers are dropping back into the 40s, like in Freeport, Monroe. We're 53 in Rockford, 50 in Rochelle, and 52 in Dixon. Low 50s for our weather watchers across the board here this evening. Ben in South Beloit checking in with 50 degrees. Ken in Belvedere 51, 50 for Mike north of Forreston, and 51 also for Bob here in Rockford. Dew point numbers have come down too, so we're starting to see that drier air come in, which will eventually help to peel away at some of the cloud cover we have. A live look with our Mercial SkyTrack camera. Those clouds are a result of low pressure spinning up to the north, bringing some snow across the upper Midwest and the northern plains. Not a lot, but just a sign of that cooler air trying to filter in. And eventually we are going to see that cooler air come in beginning tonight and for the next couple of days. What's going to happen, that low to our north, that'll push a little bit more off to our east. So that's going to allow that cooler air, the darker shades of blue you see at the top of that map, to kind of filter in not only for the night tonight, but also during the day tomorrow. And that means our temperatures for tomorrow will have a hard time making it out of the upper 40s. And that longer range outlook, again, favoring that higher probability for below average temperatures to stick around. While we'll likely see the numbers go up a couple of days here and there over the course of the next couple of weeks, that overall trend through the rest of this month favors that below average probability. As far as precipitation is concerned, below average with respect to precipitation. Now, this takes us out through the end of April, or at least close to the end of April. We might start to see some signs changing a little bit once we get into the month of May. But bottom line, look for those cooler temperatures to stick around and little opportunity for the chance of rain to really kind of work in here over the next couple of weeks. Now, we could see a sprinkle or two tomorrow, but that would be pretty much it. While our skies will clear out a little bit, we do have to watch how quickly our skies clear out tonight, because clearing skies tonight, that could mean some patchy frost by tomorrow morning. I do not think it is going to be very widespread, but as temperatures get close to the freezing mark later tonight, that is a possibility. Notice tomorrow we bring back that cloud cover, leaving us with a mostly cloudy sky, and from that we could get a sprinkle or two during the afternoon. We'll peel away at some of the cloud cover Wednesday into Thursday. Thursday going to be a quiet day, but a cooler one too. Temperatures will stay in the 50s straight through the weekend. So my forecast low down to 33. Again, some patchy frost could be possible, and that is a possibility these next couple of nights too, with those temperatures staying in the 30s. Rolling up to 49 for tomorrow. Winds will be a little breezy, not as strong as what they were the last couple of days, but you're still going to feel the chill tomorrow. 54 on Thursday, upper 50s Friday, Saturday. Could see a couple of light showers there. Saturday, Sunday almost looking identical as far as temperatures, and then the chance for some lighter rain. We may see that number, that 61 here on Monday, but guys, the numbers do fall back again by next week.
Chill seems like an understatement. Those temperatures are closer to cold. Thanks, Candice.
Scott's in next to talk sports. He says the Cubs' issues are worse than simply a bad start to the season.
And did golf fans miss Tiger Woods at the Masters? Scott says the answer's in the TV ratings.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Sports Director Scott Leber.
The deeper we get into this baseball season, the more it looks like Theo Epstein knew exactly what he was doing when he bailed on the Cubs. If Major League Baseball was the NBA, the Cubs will be drawing comparisons to a lottery team. That's how bad they've been through 10 games. The Cubs team batting average of 164 is the worst in Major League Baseball by a whopping 28 percentage points. They're last in the majors in on-base percentage, last in slugging percentage, and they've struck out more than any team in the National League. Over the last 10 games, they've totaled 49 hits. That is the worst 10-game stretch by any Major League team since 1901. It would be easy to suggest this is simply a bad start and the Cubs will come around. Yeah, they won't hit 164 collectively for the entire season. They'll get better, but based on what we've seen the last couple seasons, it's hard to imagine this team getting a whole lot better at the plate. The Cubs team batting average last season was only .220. There's a pattern here. They'd more than take that .220 average right now. Yes, Theo Epstein has to be very relieved he is not in charge of this mess. Then again, Theo always said he's at his best as a GM when he's taking over a rebuilding team. That's just what the Cubs might be in a few short weeks if this keeps up. Well, the Masters is a tradition unlike any other, unless it's lacking star power. That's what happened over the weekend. Sunday's final round was the least watched in 30 years. The biggest reason? No Tiger Woods. But not only that, defending champion Dustin Johnson wasn't in the field after missing the cut. Other big names like Sergio Garcia, Rory McIlroy, and Brooks Koepka missed the cut. Bryson DeChambeau finished a distant 46th. Jordan Spieth did finish third, but he could never get over the hump Sunday to where it looked like he had a shot to win it. Personally, I'll tune into the Masters just to see beauty shots of the course. But Augusta National by itself is not enough to sustain TV ratings and generate excitement. I'm not surprised people didn't tune in for this event like they normally would. It's not to take anything away from Hideki Matsuyama. He was excellent and a deserving champion. That's my take. We'll be right back.
Our first Warren Interactive Radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More. Excuse me, our skies will clear out a little bit here as we go through this evening. I got so excited about the forecast to tell you about the cool down. No, that's not really it. I'm not excited about the cool down. It'd be nice if we could see those temperatures warm up a little bit, but we are going to see the numbers fall back. Upper 40s for tomorrow. Could be a little patchy frost later tonight. Temperatures down near 33. We'll keep the cloud cover around. Highs in the upper 50s towards the end of the week. 60s possible early next week, but then the chill returns by the middle to end of next week.
All right, thanks, Candice.
Nice pause for dramatic effect.
That's right.
Thanks for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.